There's a book publisher called Brave Books, okay? And they produce books that are titled things like Little Lives Matter, Hands Off My Coconut Cannon, or something like that. It's right-wing conservative Christian evangelical extremist propaganda for children. That's what it is. I've been going through a series where I'm reading a bunch of these books for children. The company was originally created by Kirk Cameron, Brave Books, or Brave Publishing, or whatever. I wanted to read one today, but before we read it, let me give a little introduction to explain why they're doing this and what it's all about. Check this clip out. This is Gene Bailey on the left. This is a TV show called Flashpoint, owned and operated by Kenneth Copeland. Gene Bailey is the host. And this was said on the Valentine's Day episode 2023. Listen to this.
You know, when we look back on Hitler, Hitler went for the youth. The enemy always goes for the youth. We must take up arms and go for our youth, arms of the truth and of godly principles. But
that's why Brave Books has been producing books the way they have at an astonishing rate. And Donald Trump even shouted them out recently. So let's read some of these books that they made for children, some of these propagandistic, ridiculous books. See what they have to say. This book is titled Little Lives Matter by, who wrote this? Elizabeth Johnston, I guess, wrote this? Yeah. Art by Sergio R. Romeri. Let's see how they propagandize in this book to children. Just nuts, dude. Just as the wildflowers were starting to bloom in Whiggamore Woods, the sweetest little bear cub was born. He wasn't like any other bear cub on Freedom Island, but that made Mother Bear love him even more. So this book is titled Little Lives Matter. I'm sure that this is going to attempt to debunk the idea that Black Lives Matter. As depraved as that sounds, that seems to be Kirk Cameron and other far-right figures' goal. So after getting through the book, I think it's more of an anti-abortion message, but being titled Little Lives Matter is just too on the nose. So I think it was probably intended to appeal to a number of different issues, but either way, it's completely unhinged. I think that's what we can expect from them. Little Moby had 2 brown bear eyes, 1 brown bear nose, 2 brown bear feet, and 10 little toes. But little Moby had only 1 front paw, so Mother Bear cared for her frail little cub day and night. Okay, only 1 paw. He's missing a paw. So he's different from everybody is the point. One evening, Mother Bear was rocking little Moby when Culture the Vulture landed beside her. Culture the Vulture. Oh my god, dude. Does it get any more absurd than that? Culture the Vulture. So this is obviously supposed to be Culture telling this bear something or other, right? Okay. Culture the Vulture landed beside her. What a tired mother you are, he squawked. How hard you work, caring for such a small, weak baby. When you're stuck with him, you can't climb trees with friends. Why don't you leave him and live for yourself? Okay, I don't think Culture is telling mothers to leave their children and have a good time. This is just bad, dude. Zip it, Culture, growled Mother Bear. Go away, let us be. My life may be hard, but my son's still my son, and I love him even more than all the treetops filled with fun. You say if I leave, then my life will be free, but it's my son's life, not mine. That means most to me. Well, this is just painful and bad. And look, Culture the Vulture is hiding behind a tree with this weird staff he's got here, okay? Just as Culture promised, the years got tough, but little Moby got tougher, and bit by bit, he grew. We got pictures of little Moby fishing with 1 paw, apparently. Do bears usually use fishing poles? Is he using a fishing pole because he doesn't have that extra paw? I thought they used their mouths anyways. I like Culture the Vulture already, right? Absolutely. Oh, God, this is just bizarre. Soon little Moby learned to play with other bear cubs. He fished with them and wrestled with them and tracked mud through his mother's den with them. But his friend's favorite thing was climbing the big oak tree in the center of the forest. As they climbed to the tippity top, little Moby watched from below, wishing he wasn't missing a paw. One day, a friend called down, "Come on, Moby, won't you try climbing too?" Little Moby looked down at his 1 little paw and up to the tippity top of the tree. With a shake of his ears and a huff and a grunt, Moby decided to climb. One arm up, 2 legs up, 1 arm higher, 2 legs higher. Inch by inch, little Moby climbed until, thunk, poor little Moby landed on the ground at the base of the big oak tree. All right, so the point of this whole book here is that some people have disabilities, or some people have disadvantages in society. It's not a disability. A better word would be disadvantage, right? Some people have disadvantages in society, yes, but you just get back up and you try again. Now, here's what's funny about this. The far right, the people that wrote this book, Kirk Cameron, for example, the guy who published it, thinks that I have a problem with this message. I don't. I think it's great to encourage somebody to fight and work hard and do their best and improve their condition and whatever. I don't have a problem with that. I'm fine with that. That's great. Absolutely agreed. But as a society, we should facilitate people's ability to work harder so that it's not so that it's possible for them, right? No matter what, if you have some condition or disability or situation that you're in, it's going to be more difficult than everyone else. And I want to make it more equitable. I want to make it so that you have just as many opportunities and chances and advantages as everybody else. As a society, as an individual, you should view things this way. Maybe you should try your best to view things this way. As a society, we should be working to make this better for everybody. Now, what they're really talking about isn't a disability. As I said a minute ago, it's being black. This is directly compared to being black. Little lives matter. Black lives matter. He's a brown bear. We're talking about black people, you know. Society doesn't just disadvantage the black community. It does pull the rug right out from under them. There is almost zero generational wealth in the black community. You know why? Because up until recently, they weren't even allowed to own property. Up until recently, they were drinking from whites-only water fountains and blacks-only water fountains. So it's not even a disadvantage for the black community, the way that they're portraying it here. It is society, in a concerted effort, pulling the rug out from under them completely. So as a society, we need to find some way to correct this. Poor little Moby landed on the ground at the base of the big oak tree. All around, his bear cub friends giggled and grinned. Little Moby felt the tears drip, drop, drip off his nose. Culture landed beside him. What a sad bear you are, he squawked. How hard it is to live with a missing paw. You're helpless and little and a very big burden. Culture does not say that. I do not say that about anybody, particularly not about the black community. I don't say it's hard to live with being black and you're helpless and little and a burden. I don't say that about anybody. You'll never climb trees with your friends. Wouldn't life be easier for everyone if you just ran away? I guess, is that supposed to be like the equivalent of taking yourself out? I have never said that, and I don't wish that, and I don't... What a depraved thing to say to somebody. What a depraved thing to put in a children's book. This is just confusing garbage. His mother crashed through the brush. Zip it, Culture, growled Mother Bear. Go away, let us be. Moby's life may be hard, but my son's still my son. I love him even more than all the treetops filled with fun. You say if he leaves, then he'll be free, but it's my son's life, not mine, that means the most to me. Oh, now it's sideways. You won't even know it's sideways if you're watching this in the edited version. I'll just flip it for you to see. But it says, just as Culture promised, the years got tough, but little Moby got tougher, and bit by bit he grew. At last, little Moby wasn't little any longer. Because of his missing paw, Moby resolved to work harder, run faster, and climb higher. His struggles gave him a big heart for others. Yeah, there's no choice but to work harder. You have no choice. But as a society, we should try to improve living conditions and create equity. We want to make it so that everyone has the same opportunities and they start off from the same footing. You know, Kamala Harris made this political ad, I think in 2020, when she was running with Biden for president. Listen to Kamala Harris's advertisement, you know, to her ad to become president or whatever in 2020.
So there's a big difference between equality and equity. Equality suggests, oh, everyone should get the same amount. The problem with that, not everybody's starting out from the same place. So if we're all getting the same amount, but you started out back there and I started out over here, we could get the same amount, but you're still going to be that far back behind me.
Right, and the reason that this is a problem in the black community is because up until very recently, You know, white people have always been allowed to own property in the United States. At no point were white people banned from owning property. Black people, on the other hand, at one point weren't allowed to vote, weren't allowed to own property, not allowed to have a credit card in their name, not allowed to do all kinds of stuff. They had to stay separate. They had to live in their own communities. They had schools that had significantly lower test scores on average. There was less funding because there was poorer education in these areas. There were fewer opportunities. So the black community started off on lower ground. They started off with a disadvantage. So equity brings people up to a level playing field so that we all have equality of opportunity, so that we can all try and have a chance at reaching the same goals. Equality is making sure that, you know, nobody discriminates against the black community in hiring practices. Equity is making sure that the black community has the ability to even apply for the job in the first place by going to college for certain degrees and stuff like that.
It's about giving people the resources and the support they need so that everyone can be on equal footing and then compete on equal footing. Equitable treatment means we all end up at the same place.
Biden-Harris 2020. So anyways, that's the difference between equity and equality. And they're saying that we shouldn't try to make it equitable or equal, apparently. You should just try harder. If you're failing, it's your fault. Well, you should view this as something you have to struggle and fight to overcome, but society should chip in and try to make things more fair, too. Like, I don't have a problem with the message being given in this book like they think that I would. But society should be jumping in to help, too. It's a little thing. It's not like we have to spend any money on this. We could just pass a few regulations for companies, and we could do stimulus programs in black neighborhoods that help kids get to college, help kids pay for college even. You know, if you are adopted, then you go to school for free. You can get into college for free if you're adopted, no matter what. You don't have to pay back student loans, from my understanding, if you're adopted in the United States. Why don't we do that for the black community? They started off way back there. When they rolled the dice the first time, the white community had already passed go 13 times and owned every property on the board. Anyway, let's keep reading this book. At last, little Moby wasn't little any longer. Because of his missing paw, Moby resolved to work harder, run faster, and climb higher. His struggles gave him a big heart for others. Wow, a big heart, you say. So caring for others, having empathy, and trying to make people's lives better is a good thing? Interesting. An interesting message to find in this book. Just as the leaves were turning reddish-orange, Moby came back to visit Mother Bear. Her brown fur had turned silver gray, and her walk, once so quick, was now a lumber. But that made Moby love her even more. Preparing for winter, the other bears chomped and chewed, filling their tummies with food. From her den, Mother Bear watched as Moby searched day and night to find her berries. Okay, do bears eat berries? I thought bears ate live, living beings. Don't bears eat fish and any other thing they find alive in the forest? They're predators, aren't they? One morning, as Moby gathered Mother Bear's breakfast, Culture landed beside him. "What a tired bear you are," he squawked. "How hard you work to keep your old weak mother full. She takes all your time. You can't chase adventure or climb trees with friends. Wouldn't life be easier if you left and lived for yourself?" Culture does not say this. What are they talking about? What they mean when they say culture is the left. They believe that the left controls the culture in the United States. And I guess Culture the Vulture is supposed to represent the left. They just couldn't come out and say the left because that would be too on the nose. The left does not say you should abandon your parents and live your life. What? Just such a strange story. "Zip it, Culture," growled Moby Bear. "My life may be hard, but I'm still my mother's son, and I love her even more than all the treetops filled with fun. You say if I leave, then my life will be free. But it's my mom's life, not mine, that means most to me. So they're trying to build a connection with family, I guess. And now they have him in a picture on the wall with an award. He's reading a book to her. What is this book? Is this a Bible? I bet this is a Bible. It looks like one. Oh, wow. So they have a bunch of like games and stuff in the back, and an advertisement for the next one. Elephants are not birds. Okay, let's just look at the back and see what it has to say here out of curiosity. To your family. Introduction. Storybooks are great, but the lessons don't always make their way into our hearts and minds. Right. So this book had a lot of subtext and veiled messaging that kids may not pick up on, but the parents probably do because they're so deeply immersed in these culture war issues. So they're going to try to drive these points home with the games that they play. Okay? Brave Books has created the Brave Challenge section to help drive home key lessons and values from each book. Each game can take 10 to 20 minutes. The Brave Challenge. Here's the objective. Children, welcome to Team Brave. Your mission for this Brave Challenge is to defend Whiggamore Woods and Mother Bear from Culture the Vulture. This is just painful. Your goal is to score more points than Culture. Your first objective is to create a scoreboard with Team Brave versus Culture. Here's a section for adults only. Let's read just for the adults. While the children are creating the scoreboard, be thinking about what they win if they defeat Culture. Here are a few ideas. That was really poor grammar. Somebody should have caught that. Night out with parents, movie night, play the children's favorite game, putt-putt golf, baking and eating treats, bike ride, or whatever gets your kiddos excited. These are actually all pretty decent ideas. Maybe the parents should get rid of the book and then just go do one of these things with their kid, and that would create a much better adjusted adult, right? Here's how the points work. Team Brave can earn points in two ways. First, by doing well in the games according to the rules of each game. Second, by giving thoughtful answers to the questions I ask after each game in the Talk About It section. How does Culture score points? I will roll the die for Culture before each activity and also before the Talk About It section of each game. The number rolled on the die is the amount of points Culture gets for that activity. For example, if I roll a 3, Culture gets 3 points for that activity. Don't let me forget to record Team Brave and Culture's score on the scoreboard. If Team Brave has more points than Culture after all 3 games, then you've successfully defended Whiggamore Woods. The prize for winning will be blank. Let's begin. Okay, now this is a parents-only section again. The Brave Challenge works best with 2 or more children, but it still works with 1 child. This is their attempt to bring in more kids, get more kids involved in reading this book of theirs because they want to affect the culture, U.S. culture, as much as humanly possible. This is a propaganda book, and they want to spread it to as many people as they can. If there's 1 child and 2 parents, then choose 1 parent to be on the same team as the child and keep the games the same. Elizabeth Johnston wrote that. Wait, you know what? That's a familiar name. Oh my God, no! I know who this is. This is Activist Mommy. Oh my God, dude. I've covered this person before. I don't have any clips from her because I haven't covered her since I started storing the clips and keeping track of them. Let me go to my website and check. Let's see. Activist Mommy. Yep. Check this shit out. I've covered a bunch of Activist Mommy stuff. It's on my website here. Oh, this is crazy. 3 years ago, I covered her. This is Elizabeth Johnston. This is the person who wrote this. This person is unhinged from reality, dude. Wow, I looked so different back then, right? I remember that red shirt. That thing sucked. Basically, this woman was on Anderson distancing, basically. And Cuomo wants to use New York as a coronavirus vaccine laboratory. I think that's actually an okay idea as long as we know the vaccine is safe. We're going to have to use the vaccine on a larger scale at some point. And, well, that's crazy, man. Anyway, yeah, you can just go to my website if you want, owenmorgan.com, and type in Activist Mommy, and all the videos I've done on her will pop up. I wish I'd saved the clips before, though. Now I'm saving the clips, but wow. Okay, so let's see what Activist Mommy has to say here. I knew I recognized that name from somewhere. Elizabeth Johnston is a popular conservative influencer who has spent her career bringing awareness to issues close to her heart, including the importance of God and the family. She helped Brave Books write this story, and and the Brave Challenge. She will be popping in to give you ideas on how you can explain these concepts to your child. Elizabeth suggests all lives are valuable. These activities and discussion points aim to help your child understand that all lives are worth protecting and all lives have the privilege of living, from the unborn to the disabled to the elderly. Another dog whistle about privilege. Oh my God, dude. This is crazy. This is straight up crazy. Game number 1, Dead or Alive. Materials needed: something soft to land on, such as a pillow and a 6-sided die. Roll number 1. Roll the die and record Culture's score from 1 to 6. For this game, each member of Team Brave should place both hands on his or her knees and stand on a rug, pillow, or couch cushion on the floor. Every time I say the name of something alive, jump in the air and then act like that thing. If I say the name of something not alive, drop down onto the pillow and then act like that thing. Okay, so here are some examples. A rock, a fish, a robot, a baby inside a mommy. Oh my God, dude. This is just bad. This is bad. A chocolate chip cookie is another one. This is just, this is terrible. This is really, really painful. If every child does the correct action, jump or drop, then Team Brave gains 1 point. But if even one teammate does not do the correct action, you don't get the point. Here we go. And of course, they explain that a baby inside a mommy is alive, is a jump thing. Wow, this is just painful. Talk about it. No, roll number 2. Roll the die and record Culture's score, 1 to 6. Ask the following questions and award points based on the thoughtfulness of the answers. How can you tell a rock is not alive? How can you tell a fish is alive? How can you tell a baby inside a mommy is alive? All right, here's the thing. The cells are technically alive in the same way that the cells that I'm scratching on the side of my head are alive at this moment and are now dead because they are detached from me. I'm killing cells right now by scratching my nose. Right now, okay? In the same way, the blastocyst in a mother is alive. You don't freak out when I scratch my nose. You shouldn't freak out when people get rid of a blastocyst of 150 cells. Now, there's a point at which it should be taken a lot more seriously. In my opinion, that point is about 15 weeks. But you should still have the right to bodily autonomy. If you get in a car accident and you go to the hospital and you wake up there and find that the person that you ran into was attached to you, taking your blood. They needed your blood to survive for one reason or another. There's no way around it. And you were handcuffed to the hospital bed, and they told you you're not allowed to get up, and you must continue giving your blood to this person, whether you like that or not. You can see how that would be a complete violation of your rights as a human being, right? Your rights to bodily autonomy. You would be perfectly allowed to stand up out of that hospital bed and walk away from there, detach the machines. They have no right to handcuff you to this person and force you to give them your blood, right? Now, maybe you'd be a good person to do that. I could see an argument for that. Maybe you'd be a good person to stay there handcuffed and feed your blood into them. But you are perfectly within your rights to stand up and leave. That's the fundamental argument of bodily autonomy. A mother has the right to stand up and walk away and not feed her blood into somebody else. Whether that baby is alive or not is irrelevant. Anyway, yeah, I just want to clear that propaganda up. Brave tip, remember to reward points for effort as well as correctness. Which is worth more, a fish or a chocolate chip cookie? Why? Number 5, just because living things are more important, does that mean non-living things aren't important? What are some examples of non-living things that are very important? Examples can include sunlight, air, or books. Which is worth more, a human baby or a fish? Why? See, these are interesting moral questions that I have no problem with children contemplating, but in this context where they're trying to propagandize to children intentionally and specifically, I do have a problem with that. Elizabeth suggests, while both a fish and a human baby are alive, a baby is more valuable than a fish because human babies are made in the image of God. Oh my God. Fish are fun, but you, like all humans, are special in God's eyes. Genesis 1:27. They're quoting the Bible in this book. So God created man in his own image. In the image of God, he created him. Male and female, he created them. Wow. Okay. This is painful. Game number 2, favorite things. A reusable shopping bag is required for each Brave member, a timer, and a 6-sided die. Roll number 3. Roll the die and record Culture's score from 1 to 6. Objective? In this game, all members of Team Brave will find their favorite thing that can fit inside these bags. When I say go, you'll have 90 seconds to find it and return to your spot. Once you find your favorite thing, put it inside the bag and make sure no one else on Team Brave can see it. We'll guess what you've chosen when you get back. Ready, set, go. Start the 90-second timer and send the kids out to gather their favorite things. Good job, everyone. Now your teammates will join together to guess the item in your bag. Don't give any hints. They will have 3 guesses to come up with an answer. If they guess your item correctly, you'll receive 6 points. After everyone's item has been guessed, we will take the average number of points awarded as our final score to add to the scoreboard. Remember, you cannot touch the bag when guessing. Choose a child to begin and award points as directed. Okay, I don't get the point of this game, but it may become clear. Talk about it section. Roll number 4. Roll the die and record Culture's score from 1 to 6. Ask the following questions and award points based on the thoughtfulness of the answers. What did you like most about the item you chose? Okay, they've set this up so that the kid can never lose, right? They set it up so that the parent can award participation points. Sounds like a participation trophy to me. Just a little. I'm just throwing it out there. What did you like most about the item you chose? Okay, now that the game is over, there should have been a comma between okay and now. In fact, you know what? There shouldn't have been the word okay there at all. Should have just been, now that the game is over, blah, blah, blah. This is poorly written. I can't believe this made this to the publishing stage. Did they even have an editor? Now that the game is over, put your items back in the bags. We don't need these any longer, so we'll just throw them away. What? I guess they mean we'll just put them away, not throw them away. Another editing error they should have, paid attention to. Grab all the bags and begin walking toward the trash can. Try to convince your kids that you actually mean to get rid of the items. Oh, wow. Okay. I guess they were serious. But don't actually hurt them. When your kids begin to protest, stop. Is this book fucking whacked out to anybody else? Wow, dude. What is happening right now? This is insane. I'm kidding. Everyone calm down. Let's talk about this. Why did you not want me to throw away your things? How did it make you feel when I said I was going to throw your favorite thing away? And why? When God made the world, he only made one thing that was like himself. People. We are his favorite creation. How do you think God feels when we hurt his favorite creation? Oh, so this is back to the pregnancy issue. This is back to trying to convince kids that babies are alive and well, even when they're literally 150 cells. Elizabeth suggests, help your children understand that when you spend time creating something, it hurts when others come and destroy it. But God didn't spend any time creating that baby. The parents did, and trust me, they had plenty of fun doing it. More than likely. Or at least one of them did. More than likely. Okay, let's see. Enough hedging. God has created everything with a purpose and meaning. Because God finds joy in his creation, we must strive to protect it. Okay, wow. This is crazy, dude. Gathering berries, game number 3. Materials needed, 6 balls, a basket, a timer, and a 6-sided die. Roll number 5. Roll the die and record Culture's score from 1 to 6. Objective, each member of Team Brave will take turns gathering berries for Mother Bear. I'll blindfold the first team member and place 6 balls around the room. Your objective is to help the blindfolded team member move as many balls as possible into the basket in the center of the room within 120 seconds. To make it even harder, the berry-picking teammate can only use his left or non-dominant hand. He must put his right hand in a pocket and leave it there. You know, there's a period of history where conservatives, people like this, did not like left-handed people. They fucking hated them, actually. And I'm left-handed, as a matter of fact. Honestly, you can see after left-handedness stopped being evil, you can see a trend line go up of people, self-reported left-handed people. It's the same as the trans community. You know, when being trans stopped being as demonized as it was previously, you can see the trend line move up of self-reporting trans people coming out. Or LGBT in general, when being gay wasn't as demonized. You can see those reports coming up. But, you know, they have to insist that there's some kind of a cabal out there that's convincing children to do this, rather than they just feel more acceptance from society, so they feel safer to come out. It has to be a conspiracy, right? Anyway, let's keep reading. After the first teammate is finished, we'll record how many berries he gathered, reset the berries, and move to the next person. Each berry is worth a point to that person, and at the end, we'll average all the children's scores. Ready, set, go. Here's the talk about it section. Roll number 6. Roll the die and record culture's score from 1 to 6. Ask the following questions and award points based on thoughtfulness of the answers. Again, a participation trophy. You can't lose this game. This is set up in such a way that the kid will always win, because you're awarding participation trophies. Number 1, how did it feel not being able to see where the balls are and not being able to use both hands? Do you think you could have done it by yourself? How do you think Mother Bear helped Moby when he was a little baby? How hard would it have been for little Moby without a Mother Bear? Number 3, did Mother Bear love little Moby even when he was a baby and hard to care for? When did Mother Bear start loving little Moby? When did God start loving you? Has he always loved you even before you were inside your mom? This is fucking insane, dude. This is absolutely unhinged from reality. But that's what I expect from Elizabeth Johnston, activist mommy. I cannot believe that this is the same person that I talked about all those years ago. 3 years ago, I talked about her. Yeah, she talked a lot about vaccines back in the day and healthcare for all. She just lost it at the idea that people would be given healthcare. I remember some of these. This is just crazy, dude. Oh, look, this is from a time when I was okay with insulting people. Activist mommy, more stupid than we thought. I don't do that anymore. I haven't done that for years, but yeah. Elizabeth suggests, God has always loved you, even before you were born. Jeremiah 1:5, ESV version, says, before I formed you in the womb, I knew you. Yeah, that was a completely different context. That was specifically talking about a prophet. That wasn't talking about every baby. God is pretty clear in the Bible about every baby. Unborn babies are generally looked at as property, and if you cause a miscarriage in somebody, then you just have to pay a little fine in some spots. In other spots, God specifically tells people to get an abortion if their wife cheated on them. Really. Get an abortion if your wife cheated. That's what the Bible says. Numbers 5 verses 1 to 11, I think. Something like that. The Bible is pro-abortion. Elizabeth suggests, God loves the vulnerable and weak in our world. How can we make God happy by showing love to the vulnerable and weak? The villain in this book is named Culture. What do you think this means? Does it get any more obvious, really? Did she even have to ask that question? This is just intended to really drill the point home for kids, I guess. This is nuts. Some elements of culture you may want to help your children recognize are popular movies and music, words that people use, images and phrases trending on social media platforms, etc. I don't know what that means. In the book, Culture the Vulture told Moby and his mother to stay away from hard work. What do you think the culture around you is saying about hard work? Is that a good message to listen to? Tally all the points to see who won. Here's another book by Brave Books, Elephants Are Not Birds. You know this is an anti-trans book. You just know it. I haven't looked at it, but I'm 100% sure it's an anti-trans book. Oh, here we go. Yeah, just listen to this little glimpse into the subject, the synopsis here. Kevin the elephant has always loved to sing. When a vulture named Culture suggests that Kevin is actually a bird, he embarks on an adventure exploring reality, identity, and truth. Kids will love following Kevin's exploits and participating in the Brave Challenge, a collection of games and discussion questions to help children think through the topic of gender identity. I thought they said kids shouldn't be learning about gender or pronouns or anything. What happened to that? No, they want kids to learn about gender identity. They just want them to learn from them and from their pastors about how evil it is. Just insane, dude. Just unhinged shit. I don't know, man. This is crazy. Let me know what you think about it in the comments, and let me know if you want to see more books like this. I'm thinking I'm going to cover Elephants and Not Birds next. That's probably next on the list, so keep a lookout on this channel if you want to see more from it. Pat in the chat, how did we go from Age of Enlightenment to the Age of Derp so fast? I know. It's crazy, dude. Absolutely nuts. I don't know how we got here either. You know, in all fairness, there have always been nutter butters like this. They have always existed. Social media amplified it, but they've been around since the dawn of time. I think the book is aiming way more toward disabilities than race. Could be either, though, just my 2 cents. I think it's race. You know, the name of it alone, Little Lives Matter, is just too on the nose. And I think they were coming at, you know what? It's possible that she had no idea what she was doing, and there is no cohesive story. Maybe we're reading into this woman's ideas too much. Maybe there's just nothing knocking around up there, and she just decided to throw in dog whistle after dog whistle. That could be it. A lot of people abort because there are issues with the fetus, like mermaid syndrome. Maybe this book is about those pregnancies and guilting those AFAB people. You know what? That could be. You may be right. You may be right. Maybe this was about abortion, and maybe it was a combination of abortion and the black community and disabilities and stuff too. It seemed based on the end. It was probably about all of it. Bears are omnivores. Are they? Oh, I didn't know that. Okay. Knowing is half the battle, as G.I. Joe says. I thought they were carnivores for some reason. You need to work hard to succeed in life. That being said, enjoy your free points. Right? Exactly. That's what I saw too. What the hell? Really? Participation trophy much? This is teaching kids an obligation to their parents, even if they're abused and guilting AFAB people for aborting when they can't raise a disabled child. Yeah, absolutely. It's just disgusting, dude. It's a disgusting fucking book. Disgusting publisher. Not just the book. It's terrible. Oh, and go back to the Elephants and Not Birds description and read upcoming topics in this saga. Dog groomers are jealous of all this grooming, right? All right, let's see. Oh, wow. I missed this. Upcoming topics in this saga include capitalism, cancel culture, critical race theory, and the right to bear arms. Wow. God, I can't wait. This is going to have to be a whole series, isn't it? This is nuts, dude. I don't know. Let me know what you think in the comments. This is crazy.